Hello everyone. I'm Pete at Mixergy, and I'd like to ask the room why pay wind farms to turn on when we can pay millions of households across Europe to switch on rather than turning wind farms to switch off. Across Europe, we've got a huge deployment of renewables, and there's been immense progress over the last 2 decades in the energy transition. But this has culminated in a lot of negative pricing in the market. So in the UK, we've seen this increase by a factor of 3. And we're not alone. You can see this map showing what's going on, which has been driven by deployment of renewables in really old power infrastructure. So there was a competition in the UK to find the oldest operating transformer, and that was a 1933 half-megawatt unit in a factory just outside Leeds. But it's not uncommon to find systems that have been deployed in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And this is a real bottleneck in terms of the deployment of new energy-efficient homes. And meanwhile, in the retrofit market, gas-free heating remains outside the reach of many. It started to hit the headlines. So the headline on the left, that was catalyzed by a development just outside Oxford where 7,000 homes have been paused somewhat indefinitely until they can figure out how to get more power to the site. Meanwhile, a new build developer just outside London, building 100 homes, was told they'd have to pay £500,000 to upgrade the network connection. As this is going on, we've got skepticism being poured on heat pumps, in spite of the fact that they remain the best weapon against Russian threats to energy security again this winter. And if you zoom into the home, you realize that the critical issue is that we have to do way more with way less power in our infrastructure. A typical home in the UK or the Netherlands will have a gas and electric service. The gas service is 3 times the power capacity of our electric infrastructure, and already we're throwing EV chargers onto this. But things are going to get worse as we add all of our heating demand. A key consequence of this is that it's impossible to stick with instantaneous gas heating, and so we have to move to heat pumps and energy storage through hot water tanks, buffer vessels. So the good news is, inadvertently, we're deploying gigawatt hours and gigawatt hours of energy storage through the deployment of heat pumps. The bad news is that for the most part, these are dumb kettles. They're unresponsive to the grid. We don't know how much energy is inside. But what if each of these hot water tanks was more like an intelligent battery rather than a dumb kettle? And that's what we've been doing at Mixergy for some time. We exploit the physics of thermal stratification to only heat what you need, reduce heat losses, and with the heat transfer arrangement that we have, we can reduce the size of the tank by about 1/3 and future-proof each system for the changing grid. But we continue to develop the product, and in the last couple of years we've developed a modular heat pump proposition which goes on top of the tank. This slashes the energy consumption by 2/3 while still retaining the speed and the DSR capability that we have. But by modularizing the heat pump, we enhance the product's life cycle. So we've extended the lifespan from 5 to 25 years. This makes the system amenable to green finance propositions like green mortgages. And when you have a product that lasts this long, then the cost to service the finance is outweighed by the energy consumption cost on day one. But another step that we made as we rolled this into new build has proved to be a real game changer, because we're now able to do space heating with the same product with a much smaller footprint. We can eliminate the outdoor monoblock heat pump that would normally encroach on the garden space. We can eliminate around £600 on the capex for each installation. And we can also do this whilst growing in the fastest segment in the new build space, the small, well-insulated properties, high-rise, multi-tenant dwellings, small detached and terraced homes. So with that, alongside a recent development, we're really excited to announce that later this year, we will be the first tank in the world that pays to heat. So British Gas are launching a Mixergy tariff later this year, and the amount that it pays homeowners is equivalent to a lifetime value in addition to savings of €3,000 per install. So we've got thousands of Mixergy tanks installed throughout the UK. We're now installing in Portugal through EDP and going into Spain. So many of these systems are going to be operating beyond 2050, absorbing surplus renewable energy. And if you'd like to join the journey, help us get to millions gigawatt hours of energy storage, please reach out.